Shopify 2.0 has completely changed the way that filtering works. We now have a brand new filters section under the navigation in the Shopify dashboard. We can finally filter by price. We can filter by product options like size without having to tag products with the size or the price as we had to do previously. On the other hand, we are losing tag-based filtering. And I know that's a big deal for many of you, especially if you have a large store. Your entire catalog may have been organized around tags, and now you have to rethink your whole system. It's maybe even a deal breaker for you with upgrading to Shopify 2.0. But don't worry, I'm going to give you some tips on how you can transition from the old tag-based filtering system to the new one. In general, in this video, I'll quickly discuss the differences between the old filtering system and the new one in Shopify 2.0. Then I'll move on to kind of a tutorial format. I'll teach you everything about setting up filters, and I'll show you lots of examples. First, I'm going to show you how to set up basic filters like size and price. Then I'll show you how to create your own custom filters using metafields. My example will be filtering by fabric, and you'll be able to filter by cotton, wool, or polyester. And you can apply this knowledge to whatever it is that you sell. It's going to be the same concept. I'll also briefly talk about color filters and why this is the most difficult kind of filter to set up. And finally, I'll discuss filtering apps. There are a couple of situations when filtering apps might be the best solution for your store. For example, if you still really need filtering by tag and you also want filtering by price and other advanced filters, right? Then you might need to use an app. But first, let's talk about the difference between the old filters and the new ones. So finally, filters are now a built-in part of Shopify instead of being a feature of a theme. That's a very important difference. This is the reason why the whole system has changed. Filtering in Shopify used to be done inside of the theme. Some themes had filters and some did not. So if you wanted filters, firstly, you had to get a theme that actually offered that feature. And what you would do is you tag your products and then you set up the filters inside the theme customizer. Not inside the Shopify dashboard, but inside the theme, right? And this was very inconvenient because every theme had a different way of setting them up. You had to read the instructions for that particular theme, and then you had to name your tags accordingly, right? So usually with underscores or dashes or some specific format so that those filters got grouped and they would show up in the correct way. This was bad for a few reasons. Firstly, it's confusing. There were many times when a client asked me to help with a bug when really it was just a matter of naming the filters correctly. It was also time consuming because you had to manually tag all of your products or you had to use some kind of bulk editing app to do that. Also you're just creating a whole lot of tags on products, which is kind of messy. And then lastly, if you change themes or if you even update the same theme, but you have to set up the theme settings again, you also have to set up the filters again, right? So in general, it was just hard to manage. So now we finally have filters built into the Shopify admin. You can find them under online store navigation page. And it's a lot easier to use. At least for basic filters, it just makes sense. You simply tick what filters you want to activate, right? You don't need to do a whole bunch of tagging, so you save time, your product stays cleaner. This also means that the filters are now standardized and will work across themes in exactly the same way, except for color filters. But I'll get to that. But still, now when you change or update themes, your filters stay intact. There is a separation between your themes and the filtering. You don't have to worry about moving to a new theme. Your filters will not break, they will just work. There is a downside though for many stores, and that is that tag filtering isn't really an option anymore. So if you're watching this video to confirm that, then yes, it's true. No more tag filtering. You will still be able to add tags to products. Tags are not going anywhere, but they're more intended to be used for internal administration, organization of your store, right? For things like automatic collections, for example, and not so much for customer-facing things like filtering. Instead of tags, the new filters now use actual product data. Things like the price, the product type, the vendor, the product options or the variants that you have, like size or color or whatever you may have. And of course, metafields for those custom fields, for those custom filters. If you don't know what metafields are, I'll be teaching you in this tutorial as well. So let's talk about each of those in a little bit more detail. Okay, so as you can see, this filters menu is kind of split up into 3 sections. We have this products, product options, and metafields. I'm going to talk about this one now. I'm calling it product properties because it's properties that the product has on its own without you adding anything to it. So like the price, the availability. Now it has these 4 properties: availability, price, type, and vendor. And that's all there is to it. You can't add to these. These are the default filters that every Shopify store will have. The most useful of these is probably the price filter, because this was the one that was most painful to set up in older themes. So here I've got a price filter on the old version of Turbo, and as you can see, I had these tags like under 25 and then 25 to 50 and then 50 to 75. Those were the price ranges that people could filter by. And then I had to tag all products with this kind of pricing. And if there were 2 different variants and they were in 2 different brackets, then I had to add 2 of these tags to them. That was very difficult to do. Obviously not on my store because this is a test store, but I've definitely done this on client stores and it was a pain. And look, now the situation has changed completely. It's so easy. You just tick this box, hit save, and then you will have the price filter appear on your theme. It will look differently on different themes. So in Dawn, we actually have to enter a number, right? So I want all products that are under $80. I would enter $80. We see this filter 0 to 80. We can go from 40 or whatever. Anyway, it just works and you really don't have to do anything besides check this filter. So my God, so much easier and saves so much time. And the other one is the product type. That's something that you should pay attention to as well. I know that a lot of stores, they don't even use this. They don't even fill this out because previously it was not that useful. But now it is one of the major filtering types, and Shopify obviously wants you to use that more. So you should think about naming your product types in a way that actually helps customers browse your store. Okay, so the next filter type that I want to talk about is the product options. Now these are actually dynamically taken from the options or the variants that are on your product. So here I have a size option, right? And that's where we're getting size from here. And if my products did not have any options, like if it was a single option product, like this water bottle that I have here, it has no options. If all of my products had no options, then we would have nothing here. So it's possible that on your store, you don't have anything here at all. And likewise, if I did add options, for example, if this bottle has 2 different variants. You know, it has a 1 liter bottle and it has a 500 ml bottle. For Americans, that's, 32 and 16 ounces. And so now this product does have variants or options. If I save that, that's immediately going to be updated. If we refresh, that's immediately going to be updated. In the filters, I'm now going to be able to add a capacity filter. So there we go. If I check that, that will add a capacity filter to my store. There's our new filter, and because this collection contains the bottle, we can now filter by capacity. But notice that with this type of filter, whichever one of these I filter by, this product will always show up because both of these capacities are on this one product, right? Here it is. Another thing that you kind of have to be careful of is that if you delete this product or if you delete these variants, right? And we go back to having just the one product and say like it's just a 1 liter water bottle product with no variants, then those filters will disappear. So even though you may have set up a filter before and you want that filter on your store, but you deleted a product, you will accidentally have deleted that filter. So that's all there really is to product options. I know that color will also be a popular one. I'm going to talk about color a bit later. You might notice that I have color as a product option filter and color as a metafield filter as well. And usually I recommend using the metafield. And so I'm going to talk about color filters a bit later, because first you need to understand what metafield filters are and how they work. Alright, so I know that there is someone out there watching this thinking, we don't sell something easy like t-shirts, we sell car parts. We have like so many different filters like diameter, pressure, kilowatts, all these custom filters, and they're all based on tags. Without tag-based filtering, our store is going to be unusable. And yeah, I know that that's a problem for many stores. I think the lack of tag filtering is going to be a problem and possibly a deal breaker when you're thinking about upgrading to a Shopify 2.0 theme that you are otherwise very enthusiastic about. But I think it's okay. I think you're still going to be able to provide all those types of filters, but instead of tags, you're going to be using metafields. I've got a very simple example. On my store, I've got this fabric filter, and this isn't using a product option or anything. It's just a custom value, which is coming from a metafield. Okay, so if you're not sure what metafields are basically custom fields that you create that show up at the bottom of the product admin page. So first we have to set it up. We define the metafield, and then that will show up on products, and they're just extra fields besides the product title, the description, the price. They're extra fields that you can use for any custom value. Defining a metafield is done through settings and then going on metafields. And it's where you create the metafield and you say what it will be used for. After you define the metafield, then that metafield will appear on product pages as a new field that can be filled out. So we're going to go into settings metafields, and then we're going to go into products because we want this field to appear on the product admin page. And these are metafields I've already created for different tutorials, but we're going to say add definition. So let's recreate this fabric filter that I have. We're going to be doing the same thing, but I'm just going to call it material because I don't want to delete this one. The name fabric is already taken, so I'm going to name it material. And then next we have this namespace and key. Now this is kind of just like an ID. It's kind of for internal organization, and it's also what we use when we output a metafield's value in code, which we're not going to be using today in this tutorial, but in other tutorials I show you how to output metafields in code. Generally the namespace, if I'm using it for filters, I will make the namespace filters. So filters.material, that's a logical kind of name or ID for me. And we select a content type. Now the description is optional. You can add a description and that will show up here, and it'll like kind of help you remember what this is for. But the main thing we should do is select a content type, and the content type is going to be text. We are rarely going to have multi-line. I mean, we're probably never going to have multi-line text for a filter, right? It's going to be always single line text. And the next thing you might want to do is check this box that says accepts a list of values. Now this is important. You have to make a decision of whether your products can be filtered by multiple values, right? What do I mean by this? Well, a common example is the color. Actually, if you're using metafields for color, and like on this product, for example, now I'm not sure what color this is. This could be beige, it could be like sand, could be brown, and I want this product to show up whenever a customer is filtering by any of those. So if they filter by brown, I want this product to show up. Or if they filter by beige, I want this product to show up also. And that's why on this product, I actually have multiple values. See, beige and brown in a list like this. So this add item button. On the other hand, for this fabric metafield, I don't have that. So it only lets me input one value. And this is actually wrong for fabric, because a product can be made of a blend of fabrics, right? So now that we're creating materials, I am actually going to make it like this so that we can add cotton and polyester blend. So I'm going to check accepts a list of values. And now we have validation as well. You usually won't need this for filters, so I'm not going to go into it too much. But one thing you might want is this limit to preset choices. So here you can define some presets. This is just going to make it easier because you won't have to type out cotton every time. It's going to actually give you a list of things that you can choose from. So I'm going to add cotton, polyester, 100% organic cotton, that's another material, and wool. So this is just going to be easier to fill those things out. Now I'm going to save. And as soon as I saved, I can go back to my product and I should be able to see that new meta field appear on my product page. And as you can see, it's like select an option because we ticked that box that said limit to preset choices, right? So if this product is a blend of cotton and polyester, I can actually add two. I can add cotton and polyester. But actually that's wrong. That's wrong. This particular product is 100% organic cotton. I'm going to do that and I'll show you the blend on a different product. So this is pretty easy, right? That's all there is to metafields. You create a definition and then you fill it out. The only problem that you might have is doing this on hundreds or thousands of products. I mean, how are you going to do that? You have to go into every product, right? And then scroll down to the bottom and then fill out this material, right? That would be crazy if you have thousands of products like that. If this is your situation, that you have like a lot of products and you need to edit metafields for all of them, there are a few different solutions for this. The first is that there is actually a hack you can do with the bulk editor, but it doesn't work on all stores. It's kind of weird. I made a different video on it, so I recommend checking out that video and seeing if it still works on your store. But you may be able to enter the bulk editor and actually edit metafields here. You may not be able to, depending on if your store has been updated by Shopify. This new update has been rolled out that stops that hack from working. So I'm going to recommend apps instead as a fallback. And there are 3 apps that can help you out with this, okay? The first is Metafields Guru. This is a well-known app for editing metafields, and it has a whole bunch of features that makes editing metafields easier. But the one that you're looking for is this Excel-like editor, right? And so it gives us this whole spreadsheet of all our products with our metafields. And if I want to add, the metafields we already set up to this product, I can go cotton, polyester, apply, and then, for example, I can apply this across the entire column like that. There's other things you can do as well, but the first app is Metafields Guru. Okay, the next app is called Matrixify. Matrixify is a very useful app when you have a large store with lots of products, and it's not just for metafields. It lets you export and import a CSV just like the default Shopify one, but unlike the default Shopify one, it lets you choose which columns or which product properties you actually want to export and re-import back in. So the default Shopify export import to CSV, when you import, it completely overwrites your products, and that's kind of not very safe to do. Whereas Matrixify, when you re-import, it actually doesn't overwrite your products. It only overwrites that one column, that one property that you exported, right? So that could be really useful for you for updating your metafields in bulk. You would export this and just edit in Excel or in whatever Google Sheets, and then re-import in a safe way. Okay, and the third app is called Bulk Product Edit. I actually really like this app because it's an automation app, right? It works differently from this where you edit a spreadsheet and this where it gives you a spreadsheet inside of Shopify. What this actually does is it lets you create automations or tasks that run. Let's check this out. We just entered the metafield editor, and we can go into we can select products that have the tag of whatever you had before. If you're using some kind of tag like size _8 or something like that, it looks for all products that have this tag, and then you can say we're going to add a metafield to all these products, and it's going to be filters, size, or something like that, and it's going to be 8. And then it will bulk create metafields or bulk fill out metafields, preferably that you've already defined. It will bulk fill out those metafields for all products that are tagged like that. And so that's, if you've got a big store and you're using tags currently, then this is exactly how you would migrate all of your tags to metafields in bulk. So yeah, those are the three options, the three apps that might help you edit metafields in bulk: Metafields Guru, Matrixify, and Bulk Product Edit. After you've filled out all of the metafields for your products, the last step is super easy. You're going to go add filters, and then you can add your new metafield filter. You can activate it under metafields here, click done, and you will see that new filter on the front end of your store. There we go, material. Obviously I haven't filled it out for all products, but let's just take a look at these pants that are cotton and polyester so I can demonstrate how this works for multiple matches. And okay, here we go. Here's a good demonstration. I filled out cotton and polyester for this one, and I filled out 100% organic cotton and cotton for this one. So if we filter by cotton, we will see both of these. But if we remove just cotton and have this, we see the ones that are 100%. Likewise, if we filter by polyester, we will see these. Or if we filter by cotton, we will also see these. So I hope this makes sense. Now there is something important that I skipped over, and that is color filters. You may have noticed that on my store, I have color in the filters set as a product option, right? And I also have a color filter metafield. Colors are pretty complex, so I won't be getting into this too much. I will be making a separate video, so you might want to check my channel, check the Shopify 2.0 playlist if I've already made that, since you're watching this in the future. But I'm going to quickly summarize the problems with color filters so that you understand the issue. Now, the first problem is that some products have very complicated color names, right? So these colors here, this is actually the product options color filter, and they are pulling these color names directly from the product options, right? Which are the actual names of the colors. Flamingo pink, Blue Ridge. These are very confusing names, and you might have an even worse situation where you have different shades of a color. Like you might have Blue Ridge, you might have blue, navy, aqua, ocean blue, royal blue, steel blue, right? And you don't want all of these showing up so that a customer is like forced to click each one of those if they want just, any blue-like product, right? And so for many stores, the best solution is to create a metafield for a generic color, which is what I've done here, right? With the beige and the brown. This is a metafield that's set on these pants. And actually, this is also something you might want to do if your product, obviously these are beige or brown, but they don't have a product option. They don't have color. So if your products are actually different colors and they're as separate products, then this is also what you want to do. Basically, you would just enter blue here if you have products with lots of different shades of blue. And when a customer filters by blue, all those products will show up. When they just select one of these generic colors, you will have tagged all of these different products with different colors with blue. So yeah, that's one reason why you might use a metafield instead of the built-in product options for color. Now, the second problem with color filters is that you probably want these filters to show up with color swatches, right? And not just as the color in plain text. So what's a color swatch? It's something like this. If you want swatches, then depending on what theme you're using, you might be in luck. Some themes offer swatches on the filters, and they're smart enough to understand the word color as the heading of that filter, and then they activate that swatch regardless of if you're using the product option or if you're using a metafield. So they see a metafield called color and they activate the swatches. Other themes may not be smart enough to do that. But anyway, I'll be going more into detail in this on the other video on color filters. I'll tell you right away that Dawn theme, for example, the default theme for Shopify that I'm using, does not offer color swatches for filters. So you just have to have these plain text colors unless you do some custom coding, which I might make a tutorial on later. Now we're almost getting to the end. You know almost everything there is to know about filtering in Shopify 2.0. So all this being said, if the new filtering system just doesn't suit your needs, you can still use an app. Okay, so this is a preview of a filtering app, and as you can see, it's got a lot of advanced filters. So an app would often give you the best of both worlds because you can filter by price easily. See, we have this price slider. You can still filter by tags, right? So if you don't want to change your tag-based filtering system, you can still filter by tags using an app, and you can filter by price and get all the new features as well. And of course, they give you color swatches, which are easy to set up. You can upload each color as a little file, and it's a very friendly UI. So overall, an app is sometimes just both the easiest and the most advanced and fully featured solution. However, as you may know, the downside of apps is that they may slow down your store a little bit with the loading time when a collection page is loaded. Right? Not your entire store, but just collection pages while people are browsing them. And the other downside is obviously that they cost money on a monthly basis. If you're going to use an app for filtering, then the one I recommend is called Product Filter and Search by Boost Commerce. You'll find the link to this app in the description. And yes, if you click it, I will get paid a small commission. However, I'm not recommending something that I wouldn't use myself. This is the app that I'm showing you here. This is the demo of the app. This is what I use on my clients' stores, and it works really well compared to other filtering apps that I've used, which tend to be buggy. It has the color swatches, it has the price, it has some interesting filters that you can create, like the shape, for example, and this works in the same way that you would do color swatches, but you're able to upload an icon for each one of your filter options, right? So this is very cool. I think you can also do things like the % sale. Yeah, people can filter by how much things are on sale. So yeah, I genuinely really like this app. It's also like the leading app on the Shopify store. It's got a bunch of reviews, so I'm not like recommending something weird. So if you do use that link, you'll be supporting this channel, and I will be very grateful for that. And actually, by the way, if you want a tutorial on how to set up filters using this app, then I'll be happy to do that. Just let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. I can actually show you how I'm using it on a real store. So that's it. That concludes this video. I really hope it wasn't too long because I also have to edit it right now. Anyway, I hope you found it helpful. If you're currently going through the process of updating your site from an older theme to Shopify 2.0, then you might feel a bit stuck or unsure about a couple of things. I've actually had people contacting me recently asking about how to update to Shopify 2.0 in their specific situation. And they want like a bit of help, a bit of a consultation call or something like that. And a consultation with a developer is usually quite expensive. It would usually cost whatever the developer's hourly rate is. And if you're going to be talking to them for an hour or a couple of hours, or enlisting their help, then you're obviously going to be paying hundreds of dollars. However, you might be interested to know that I do have a more affordable option for you if you're a smaller store. And that is a coaching group that I run as a monthly membership, and it's currently just $40 per month. So yeah, it's group coaching. It's a very small group. There are currently only a few people in it. And it's basically a Discord chat room with myself and this small group of other Shopify store owners and beginner developers as well, actually. And we discuss everything about Shopify 2.0 and about making code changes to your theme and basically everything that I do on this channel. And I provide a lot of very personalized support and advice to those people in that group. So if that sounds good to you, you can find out more and maybe sign up at buymeacoffee.com/edcodes. This is like a donations platform, but if you click on the membership tab, then you can find out more about my membership and the coaching group. But yeah, that's all for today, guys. This video is long enough. As usual, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to respond or make a video for you. That's all. I'll see you next time.